Do you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah.
There's a hole on his property, and he sees that like all his neighbors are throwing all kinds of crap into the hole. They're just using it as a dump. He wonders, why does this not fill up? And he's a fisherman, so he puts fishing line down there. Maybe it's a well, 20,000 feet, 50,000. He hits about 16 miles of line down, and he doesn't hit the bottom with it. He said, I got back into town. I couldn't get on my property. There was military there. Some guy in plain clothes came down and said, you can't come in here. There was a plane crash. We could find a drug factory if you want to press this. It's Mel's hole?
Is that what it is? Where this guy was like, put fishing line down there? He could never find the bottom?
Yeah, that's Ellensburg, Washington. That's so, do you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah, do you ever go see this stuff?
No, not really.
Why?
Well, I mean, if I debunk a story, why go see it?
Did you debunk that?
How can I tell this? How can I tell you that I haven't told the story yet?
Let's hear it.
All right. Mel Waters buys this property in Ellensburg, like the Monastash Ridge in Washington, in that area. And there's a hole on his property. And he sees that like all his neighbors are throwing all kinds of crap into the hole, like old washing machines and all kinds of stuff. They're just using it as a dump. And so he starts doing the same thing. They're all just throwing stuff in the hole. And after a while, he wonders, why does this not fill up? It's very strange. So he goes over there and he's just he can't see the bottom. He can't hear an echo. And he's out there investigating with his dog. And he's looking and he looks and his dog won't come close. Like his dog is like, will not come near the hole. And he looks up and birds are flying around it. Like nothing wants to come near this hole. So he wants to figure out how deep this thing goes. And he's a fisherman, so he puts fishing line down there and he's got 5,000 feet and he doesn't hit bottom. He does another spool. He's got 10,000 feet. He ties lifesavers on the bottom of it to put it down there to see if they'll come dissolved. Maybe it's a well. 20,000 feet, 50,000, till he hits about 16 miles of line down and he doesn't hit the bottom with it. So he
16 miles
16
of line.
miles of line. So
16 or 60?
16.
Jeez.
And he notices that his radios are acting weird. When he's out there working, he's listening to his radio, and when his radio's near the hole, he's picking up these strange things. Like he's hearing old time music, which doesn't make sense. And then he tunes a little bit and he catches a baseball game. He listens to that for a minute and realizes it's a game from 30 years ago. So something is affecting like time around the hole. So at this point, he calls into Art Bell at Coast to Coast. I don't know if you remember Art Bell on that show.
Oh, yeah.
Right then. So he's telling Art the story about how weird this hole is. He talks about how one of his neighbors, his dog died, and he threw the dog down the hole. And the next day, he sees his dog running through the woods with his collar on, but he won't come. It's like he acts like he doesn't know him. Like the hole is doing weird stuff in the area. So he talks to Art Bell a little bit about it, and then Art is trying to get in touch with him and can't, and then finally does. And Mel Waters says, "I wish I'd never called you." He said, "So I talked to you," and he was out of town for that interview. He said, "I got back into town. I couldn't get on my property." So there was heavy machinery there. There was military there. They wouldn't let me up. Some guy in plain clothes came down and said, "You can't come in here." I said, "Why? This is my property." He said, "There was a plane crash, so we have to investigate it. There's no evidence of the plane crash. There's no news." And Mel starts to get kind of upset. It's my property, my land. And then the guy in plain clothes says, "I'm not saying we will, but we could find a drug factory or something on this land. I'm just, saying that could happen if you want to press this." And Mel Waters said, "I'll go to the press." The guy's like, "Tell whoever you want. No one's going to believe you." And he gets run off his property. And you don't know if it's a hoax or not, but Art Bell talks to a news crew that goes to the property and they find evidence of tractor tracks in the mud and evidence that there was a military presence there along with machinery. And it's still all blocked off. Mel is eventually contacted by some intelligence and offered a deal. $2 million, you leave the country, you never come back, and you lease us the property, sell us the property. You just never come back. So Mel goes overseas for a while. And this story on our bill is 10 years that he checks in. So Mel is overseas. He's in Australia. And it's something like his niece is graduating. So he wants to come back. He's not supposed to come back at all. But he decides to come back anyway. And he's taking a bus. He lands wherever, and he's taking a bus. And there's some type of issue where breaks out of the bus. There's a fight or something. The bus pulls over, and everyone gets off, but he's not allowed off. Like they're holding him back. They get everyone off. A couple of guys kind of grab him. He feels like a pinch, and then he blacks out. And he wakes up 12 days later, and he's in San Francisco in an alley, and he doesn't know what's happened for the last 12 days. And he tastes blood in his mouth, and he realizes his back teeth are missing. Like it's a crazy story. And he's telling all this to Art, and Art helps him like find a place to stay. And he says, Art, I just got contacted from native tribe and the people who are called the Basque. I don't know if you know the Basque. It's a region between like France and Spain. It's a little area people call the Basque. It's a small community, but it's very unique. So a lot of Basques settled in Nevada in like the 19th century. So this native tribe is working with the Basque, and they call Mel, and they want him to come out because they found another hole. Story gets weirder from here. So he goes out to like consult with them about the hole. And that hole is different. Mel's hole was about 9 feet around, 9 feet wide with a stone retaining wall. This hole is 9 feet, but it's got this metal collar, and it's metal all the way down as far as the eye can see. And it won't vibrate at all. Like Mel drops a tool or something on it, and it doesn't make a sound. It's very strange.
Time is a funny thing. It's so limited, and yet we let it pass by us. We're all guilty of putting important things off until later. If you've been putting off life insurance, check out Fabric by Gerber Life. They make it fast and easy so you can check it off your list right now. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. Made for busy parents like you, all online and on your schedule right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. Fabric is partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families just like yours for over 50 years. There's no risk, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. And they have over 1,900 five-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/srclips. That's meetfabric.com/srclips. MEET fabric.com/srclips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
The tumor open, and inside is what Mel described as a fetal seal, like the fetus of a seal with human eyes. And it's looking at them. And they kind of just set this seal-looking thing out for a while. They're looking at each other for a couple of hours. And then it eventually kind of inches its way back down into the hole. And once it does that, Mel, who had esophageal cancer, is now cancer-free. Like everyone who was sick in the village is now healed. And the people there think this is some like divine thing that with this, they call it a magic seal. And they believe that it's communicating with them through this radio in like some type of Morse code. They don't know if it's alien language or not. And he's telling Art that I've got pictures of this. I've got recordings of it. I've got all this stuff, photographs. And they finally set up an interview to go over all the evidence, but Mel never shows, and Art is never able to get a hold of him again. And that's kind of where the story ends. And, it starts out like a really interesting story, but the theory, at least what I came up with, was the story just got so, I mean, I left out so many crazy details because how much time do we have? That the story was getting so out of hand that I don't think he could keep up with the hoax anymore. And he's just like, I can't, how do you, how do you top magic seal fetus that heals cancer? So that was a story that I went into just because I liked, I'm a huge Art Bell fan, and that's a classic Art Bell story. That's one of the top ones. I wish it had a better ending. It's so anticlimactic, but it just was such a fun journey, and it's so many opportunities for jokes in there and stuff. I have a T-shirt on the. It's one of the most popular shirts. It's I went to Mel's Hole, and all I got was this magic seal fetus. I wear it all the time.
So is the hole there?
So people have tried to find the hole, and a couple of people have said they found it. So I was doing some research. What was very strange was the area where the hole was supposed to be on Terra server, which is like before Google Maps, was all blacked out. It was all like redacted, which is very strange. But later it does show up on Google Maps. So people tried to. Mel gave a lot of information of that you could probably find it. I found one place that was very compelling because Mel said on his property he had one building that was kind of falling down from snow, and I'm looking at the pictures of the property, and that building is there, and then right across the way is a hole that's 9 feet wide with a stone retaining wall. And I looked at that and I'm like, no way. That I for a second there, I thought this was Mel's hole, but it was investigated. It was just a well, and the property belongs to somebody. But that's one of those stories where I like debunked it, and then I found the pictures. I was like, no.
Damn.
Yeah.
Stuff's crazy, man.
I know this kind of stuff that I talk about, and that's, sometimes the stories just get weirder and weirder, and then they just fall down. That's Mel's hole. It's just a crazy story with no strong ending.
Damn. How do you find these?
Well, that was easy to find because as an Art Bell fan, I can name like the top 5 episodes that are my favorites. So Mel's Hole is one. Art Bell fans know that one. They know that one in and out. That's why it's so popular. Art Bell fans don't know me, but they're like, oh, Mel's Hole, I want to hear about that. So I knew about that one already. Most of the other stuff, it's either sent in to me or it's my brother is into all the weird stuff. He goes to the UFO conventions and hangs out with Thomas Jane and Barefoot and talks about UFOs and stuff. He does all that crazy stuff. So he'll say, oh, you gotta look into this, you gotta look into that. And I know if it sounds really stupid that it's going to be a good one.
Have you looked into Bigfoot?
Yeah, I looked into it. The famous part of Bigfoot is the Patterson film. It looks pretty good. It's the one that I think everyone's seen. You see the Bigfoot, he's kind of walking in the distance. And he looks back over his shoulder. That's the Patterson film. It's pretty compelling, but almost every piece of Bigfoot evidence it's been hoaxed.
Yeah, sounds like the Loch Ness monster.
Loch Ness monster also, I couldn't find any evidence of it. The famous photos, I debunked all of those. It's like
didn't it? Was it taken in a bathtub or something?
One of those was. It was a bathtub. One was just a boat. People hated that one. But Bigfoot's fun because there's native stories that go back a long time that talk about these giant creatures covered in hair, but they lived interdimensional. So it's like you're not going to go find them because they can just phase into a different dimension.
Yeah.
Which is convenient, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Bigfoot guy. Those are called cryptids, which are these creatures that are like outside of, cryptozoology. And I don't like cryptid stories. I do them because people like them. So I covered like all weird creatures, whether it's the Jersey Devil or Bigfoot or Chupacabra or all these creatures. I cover them because people like them. But the evidence always sucks. And my show is not like... When I was starting the channel, looking at these topics, there were 2 types of channels. There were the ones that were all in, Darren, right? Just everything's true. And it's like, well, yeah, but what about it? It's like, no, true. And then the other stories where you're just people telling these weird stories, but they're like snarky and sarcastic. Like it's condescending. I don't want to name any YouTube creators, but you know who you are. And that annoys me because that's just making the story about you, about how smart you are, and I'm stupid because I think this is a cool story. So there was just that. So said, well, why don't I tell the story and make it fun? And then if anyone wants to stick around for what I found, I'll do that. And most people don't.
You do a damn good job of it.
As soon as I say, but is it true? I see the numbers go, everyone's like, nope, don't care. Don't care.
Oh, man. No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.